What's up, guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Married to Medicine. This is season 11, episode 10. And girl, yeah, that mess at that pool party was it was cringy, it was chaotic, and it was messy. It was so messy. But let's get into this review. Sometimes before we get into the review, we get a little spicy, just a little bit, okay? And I just got a few things to talk to y'all about. So, first up, let's talk about Sweet Tea. So, y'all know like when it was posted all over the internet last week that Sweet Tea said Quad was jealous of her on her YouTube channel, a lot of people took umbrage with it. Well, okay. Sweet Tea was doing an interview with Bossip, and she was basically clarifying what she meant by Quad being jealous of her. So I got this from the Bravo Shade Room, and it says this. Sweet Tea explains what she meant by Quad is jealous of her. I'm trying to have a baby. She wants to do the same thing. It just seems like she's trying to follow the leader. So let me play that clip for you guys.
Saying that you think Quad might be jealous of you for some reason. People are saying, what do you mean, Sweet Tea? How could that be? What is your response to that?
I would say that, because that I have a relation, I'm married. I'm married to a doctor. I'm in public health. I have a relation to medicine. And, I know at one point, she did call my husband asking for a favor, and he didn't do that for her. And I think that she's upset that she doesn't have access to that anymore. And so, and then also like I'm trying to have a baby and all those things. And, she wants to do the same thing. And I think that, I don't think that was in the cards from what I heard from other people within the group. And so I just feel like now, it seems like she's just seemed to trying to follow the leader, if you get what I'm saying.
I got you.
I think that you guys get to see more of the dynamic between me and Gregory's ex-wife. We will exchange words. You'll probably see that, and things will be said. And people will be standing up for themselves, and that's what you will see. And that's
Thing. This is why people think Sweet Tea is delusional, and I'm one of the people. I'm one of the people that think this girl is delusional. Because what about your life screams jealousy? Why would anyone want to be jealous of that? Like, let's keep it a buck. You said that lady was following the leader, but let's think about this. She is 10 or 11 years older than you. You're living in her old house. 2, you sleeping with her ex-husband. 3, you slid into that man's DM. Somebody 23 years older than you, begging to be what he needed. I could give you what you need, a baby emoji with a baby emoji. Clown behavior. 4, okay, you are still living in that man's house that he had with said woman that is jealous of you. 5, you decided to marry this man and then get on a TV show that she's been on for 10 plus years. 10 plus years. And granted, I think they thought maybe Quad was going to be gone because she was gone majority of the season 10. But because the fans got mad, they brought her back. You always should have been prepared for that lady to be in the mix somewhere. Because even though she considered these women co-workers, they still her friends to a certain extent. So you're weird. You're weird because you wanted to be on the show with this man, and now all of a sudden you screaming jealousy. Okay. I really think that man is over there pumping her head full of lies and fallacies. I really do. But let's continue. So then Sweet Tea was on the Bravo Shade. Well, not on the Bravo Shade Room. The Bravo Shade Room comments that Sweet Tea was responding to. So this person said this: yeah, I watched this episode and I don't understand what I am what you want to be comment. Why was that BS necessary? The SHIT was embarrassing. So Sweet Tea responded to this person by saying this: yes, it absolutely was. It's honestly delusional for her to say that, but you don't think it's delusional to think that lady jealous of you? Okay. I don't know her, yet she carries this strain built up anger towards me, constantly making everything I do about her. I blocked her and the dentist on my phone, especially after the cast gave her my number, and now she's deliberately putting our neighborhood on social media, knowingly putting us in danger. Girl, what? Because she talked about the neighborhood? is putting you in danger? Okay, she said one moment she's in my comments at events claiming to be happy for us. Then she's trashing us, and now she's suddenly talking about throwing a baby shower. Make it make sense. Bravo is playing a dangerous game, and it should have never escalated to this point. This entire situation has been unwarranted, toxic, and completely unnecessary. She's weird to me. I don't care what none of y'all say. I know a lot of people come on my page because I feel like because I'm a small content creator, y'all feel comfortable voicing your opinions and, going up for Sweet Tea, which is cool. I just don't like the lady. Something about her seems lame. It seems corny and it seems tired. And to be honest, for you to have these delusions of grandeur, like, Quad is really out here coveting you. And I'm saying this as someone who really is not a big fan of Quad. That's weird to me because you knowingly put yourself in this situation and now you want to play victim. I don't like when people do that. Don't start stuff with people and then when the block get too hot, it's a problem because everybody was okay. And even I have to take ownership of that. When the men and the women were clowning Quad about Gregory bringing Sweet Tea around, but now that Quad's back with King, all of a sudden she's bothering me and she doing too much. But you were okay throwing shots and taking digs at her earlier in this season and last season. And now that she's doing it to you, you can't handle it and it's a dangerous and unsafe situation. Girl, get over yourself. I posted this picture of her and Greg with this comment. Authentically and truly always shines through. No matter how much envy and negativity tries to dim the light, my marriage is real and built on love and a bond that no outside noise can shake. But while some choose misery, we choose love, growth, and unwavering support for each other. I'll never allow anyone to disrespect my spouse in my presence, period. She said hashtag thriving, hashtag thriving together, hashtag unshakable, hashtag sweet and savory, hashtag T&G, hashtag real couple, hashtag real marriage, hashtag actually. That's what she posted after, the episode. So Quad also had a few things to get off her chest, but she was responding to different tweets. So a person by the name of LJ91 said, Dr. Greg was okay with being on the show as long as Quad was single. But now that she got a young tenderoni and all of a sudden he didn't want the negativity, Quad was drunk and wrong, but Dr. G showed and then it got cut off. And Quad said this, I'm happy. She said, I'm in a happy space in my life and I want to express how good my man makes me feel. Hashtag that's a good man, Savannah. Hashtag married to medicine. Then another person said this, it was fine for Dr. G to come back on the show and have his wedding and new wife all in Quad's face, but Quad with a new man got him bothered, FOH. And then Quad responded by saying this, we are both been blessed with love again, and at least that's how I see it, but it's giving a bad case of ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun from another side. At hashtag SMH, hashtag married to medicine. And that's honestly what it feels like, because like that person said, it was great when everybody was talking trash and throwing slight shots at Quad, but now that Quad's back on the show and she's playing the game, all of a sudden it's negativity and it's too much. I don't like that. Like, if we gonna play the game and either play it better than her, Sweet Tea and Gregory, or shut up and sit there and eat your food. So then another tweet that Quad quote tweeted said this, they tried to throw all that SHIT in Quad's face last season. I just see her having fun, getting her lip back. Hashtag married to medicine. And it really is what it is at this point. Y'all came back on the show. And you came back knowing she was coming back. So the smoke is there. Be prepared for the smoke. Let's talk about this episode. So it opens up with the paddleboard challenge and the kayaking challenge. Greg ends up flipping at the beginning of the game once he goes around the buoy that they have them like throwing balls into. Damon was trying to check on the man to see if he was okay. Ultimately, Team Starfish, which I think has Simone, Cecil, Mimi, and Steven on it, they won. And everyone was like, that's to be expected because Steven is a retired NFL athlete. But it seems like everyone was having fun. I'd have been annoyed with Jackie and Phaedra being on like my team, but more so with Phaedra because Jackie was really trying to paddle and Phaedra was just like, can we just take it slow? Girl, it's a competition. We trying to win. Hurry up. Hurry up. So we then find out that they're supposed to be having like some pool party at night. Honestly, it wasn't a pool party. They just should have said, we're going to have like a little shindig. Everybody come out wearing their pool attire, but we not getting in no pool. So we also see there's a scene before they get to the pool party, Sweet Tea and Gregory talking, where Gregory basically is asking her how she feels about being around Quad and them. And Sweet Tea's like, it's kind of awkward, but I think me and Quad are working on not it being awkward. And I think if if I can rise above all the drama, then so can you. He already got like an attitude. And I'm like, bro, get over yourself. For him to be a psychiatrist, I would not want him to be mine. Okay, because you talking about somebody that don't know how to like have a poker face or control their emotions. I'm like, bro, what you mad about? At this point in the episode, Quad and King were not even in their vicinity like that for him to be feeling this way, okay? So we then see Phaedra get ready. We find out that she invited Shek. He comes. I don't get no chemistry between them. She really feeling him, but I'm like, that man don't want you. He just want to be on TV, Phaedra. So we also see the setup for tonight's festivities. Heavenly and Simone are the first ones down by the pool. We find out that Heavenly hadn't told Simone about her inviting Apollo, so she was kind of thrown off by it. She basically said when she went to go see Damon at his job, Apollo was there and she invited him there. So Simone is just like, for real? So then in the confessional, the producers end up asking Simone, like, what you feel, like, how you feeling about this? And Simone is just like, I don't know. She said Heavenly crazy, but it is what it is at this point. If he come, he come. If he don't, he don't. We also find out that Heavenly ended up asking Apollo, is Shireen gonna come? Apollo says no, she's not coming. And so Heavenly says in her confessional, whether Shireen comes or not is up to Apollo, especially whether if Apollo comes or not. But Phaedra knows all about this. And she says her reasoning for inviting Apollo is because, they're divorced, but it seems like Phaedra and Apollo have this like good co-parenting relationship and they're able to coexist together. And so they flash back to the reunion. And like I said, Apollo wouldn't be there if Phaedra wouldn't have brought him at that reunion. Phaedra pulled out Apollo as like her, like, Uno reverse, Uno out card because she didn't do that well last season. Like the shock and awe of Phaedra being around wore off probably by episode like 4 or 5. And so I really think that they were like, well, he here, you brought him here. So now we're going to add him to the mix. And that's why he's here now. So we end up seeing the couples get to the pool. Everyone is like dressed in their attire. Toya is remarking about how King got his shirt open and his chestus is all out. Talking about like King and Steven are probably the only people that need to have their shirts off. Then she said something to the effect of basically she could have married an athletic man, but she married Eugene. I said, ooh. And Eugene was like, girl, don't touch me. I said, yeah, because it's rude. I said, Toya, that's why people don't really be thinking you like Eugene, because why would you play in his face like that? Really, why would you play with him like that? So then the last couples to come is Sweet Tea, Greg, Contessa, and Scott. And Scott pretty much lets it be known, girl, you're not getting in no pool. And she's like, what you mean? And he was like, that's not giving pool energy. And he points to the tables all set up. And she was like, girl, I followed instructions. Like, we were supposed to be having a pool party, a good time. And here y'all go. And we about to have a kumbaya, a powwow session. I said, Contessa, you've been on this show for like 5 seasons. You knew that's what was going to go down, girl. You should have been prepared for that. Everybody is down by the pool. They're all like eating, drinking, and like talking to each other. And then Heavenly has everyone sitting down in like the semicircle. And she's just like, okay, where's Phaedra? Next thing you know, Phaedra pulls up with Shek. And everyone's like, girl, what? Who this man? And then Contessa is the one that reveals, like, hey, he is the person she matched with at the speed dating thing that Sweet Tea did. And they're like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. So Simone and Heavenly are just kind of like, girl. And Simone is like, this definitely throws a wrench in Heavenly's plan about Apollo being here. And then you got Heavenly being like, girl, why would you bring this man when Apollo, like, you got that man coming? And so I said, girl, does it really matter? And then Simone is like, why did you invite somebody you barely know on a couple's trip? That would have been me. So Toya's being messy, being like, y'all sleeping in the same room? And they like hesitate and say no. And I said, I guess, girl. So they sit down and not Sweet Tea, Heavenly starts to explain the game that they're about to play. Basically called Vibe Check. I think it's kind of like the married game where you ask questions and y'all are trying to get the same answers to win points. So she throws shade at Quad, King, Phaedra, and Shek, where she says, this first question is for the married people, but also people who not married shacking up. And they was like, girl, and Phaedra's like, she's so shady. So the question goes, how many dates before you sealed the deal? So Scott and Contessa, their number was kind of off a little bit, but he explains like, hey, we're dating at like we were meeting up every other year, and Shaq ends up being like, what kind of relationship is that? And we find out that Scott and Contessa met at a medical convention, and it was a yearly convention, and they would meet each other every other year and start to date and get to know each other. He said until he sealed the deal and isolated her in some cabin. I said, oh, I feel like there should have been a different word you use, because that's a little scary, sir. And Contessa's like, stop, we have children. I said, your children know what sex is? Like, why are you trying to act like that? Like, how they get here? Because Scott said, well, then how did they get here, Contessa? She was like, immaculate conception. I said, okay, girl. Okay. So then we see Sweet Tea and Greg. He said something about 30 plus. She said 60. Then he low-key tried to say she was like, I feel like the way he made it sound is like he could have got her in 15 dates, trying to make it seem like she's somewhat kind of easy. And I was like, girl, this who you want to be with? Okay. And she was like, no, you're supposed to, they're in the confessional, and she's like, no, you were supposed to think of it like in actual terms, like how we got together. And he was like, well, I could have got you in 15. And I was just like, clearly you couldn't, because she didn't get with you until after 60 dates. So what we talking about? So then Cecil and Simone, Simone ends up being like, we had sex on the first date. And then I think she said they dated like six times or 4 times after that. And then they got together. What's her name? Jackie ends up saying, they got together and like they didn't have sex until they got married, which turns out Jackie lied to us about her losing her V card to Curtis. She just said that and we just ran with it because Jackie is stiff. But I said, okay. Then we have Mimi and Steve, where she said 5 dates, he says 4, and then they arguing about it in the confessional, where she was like, well, you told me the first date didn't count, so 5 dates. And he was like, I'm gonna let you have this one. And she was like, you letting me have it because I'm right. I said, okay. And then Toya and Eugene, they had some weird math, because Toya was like, they dated or would go hang out with each other, but she considered the hangouts as dates because a lot of the time they would hang out and it would be free stuff where he didn't have to spend no money. And Eugene is just like, girl, that's not a date. But she was like, that's because you ain't had no money. And he was like, yeah. And then King and Quad ended up saying they did 30 days, but we find out that they cheating because they was trying to like pick a number that they both agreed upon, and they wrote it down, and Damon caught it and said, no, they cheating. Was, how would you describe your parenting style? So you have 3 options that they could choose from: being soft, hard, or just right. So Cecil and Simone, and I guess it was just on like how the men parent the children, Cecil and Simone got it right, because we know Cecil is soft, and Cecil even said, I'm soft, and Simone said he's soft, and he is. And it's like, bro, you shouldn't have been soft, especially not on Miles, because I got faith in Michael. No, I think no, Michael is the one that plays basketball. I got faith he gonna turn it around. Miles, on the other hand, I don't know. We don't know. We don't know yet. And then it was Scott and Contessa. They both said Scott was hard. Contessa said hard as a rock. He said she feels like I'm too hard, but I think I'm just right. And I'm like, well, Scott, maybe you need to ease up on the kids if she think you that hard. Okay. So then we get to Mimi and Steve. She said he was just right and said that he was a great father, and he was like, say it again. I said, that's sweet. Toya even said Eugene is just right, of course, because I like how Eugene parents his sons. And then we get to King and Quad. So we find out that King actually has a 9-year-old daughter, and she put just right, and he said just right. And Quad even says watching him be a father actually makes her want to bust it wide open for him. Okay, I'm at a point where I feel like this the right one for me. So then you got Contessa and Heavenly like mimicking Quad, talking about I'm gonna bust it wide open. You got Damon going bust it. I cackled. And she was just like, seeing King, and she said this in her confessional with King, seeing him be a father, she was just like, she's so proud of him and she loves her dad. And that makes me like really love him even more. And I said, ooh, girl. So then it kind of got awkward because you can kind of start to see Dr. Gregory getting irritated. And because when they pan to the back, he kind of has this like scrunched up face and his like his foot, he had his legs crossed, but that foot was doing this. Like he was trying to like keep it together for a hot minute. And so the next question is, how many times do you and your partner have sex a week? Around telling all their business. You got Steven and Mimi being like, girl, nah. Mimi like, that's none of y'all business. I probably would have been Mimi. I'd have been like, just know that I'm satisfied, okay? Y'all don't need to know how me and my man get down. You got Curtis and Jackie, which I thought was funny because Curtis put 0 on his board. Jackie put 1 and she hit him. And then, what's his name? Eugene said, you ain't getting none tonight. You then got Simone coming out like Vanna White. She got a 2 on her board, dropping it like it's hot. You got, what's her name? I think someone yelled, oh, come on, Meg the Stallion. I screamed. And then Cecil put 0 on his board. And she said, you lying. And then, who else? Oh, I think Eugene also did it, but he was like, I want more. And so while they're sitting there, you then end up seeing Quad be like, you gonna tell the people what we do? Mind you, at this point, I think Quad was drunk. Quad was drunk. Trod was drunk. And so he was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. And the way she was like giving him the energy, I said, girl, y'all be around in that bed. It'd be a lot of round in that bed, okay? So they put 15 on their board. Everyone said, girl, Scott was trying to be on their side, being like, that means like 2 times. Oh, it's like 2 times a day. Then somebody else, I think it was Contessa that says multiple orgasms don't count, okay? And then you hear Toya be like, are you serious? And she says, yes, I'm serious. And this is like low-key on the low end. Then behind her, Sweet Tea is like, girl, you lying. But I think she was joking. But Quad is drunk, so Quad turned around and said, no, multiple times a day. And then I said, oh. So while this is happening, you see Eugene in the confessional being like, he keep looking over at Gregory, and he was like, they laying it on real thick. But mind you, why should they coddle Gregory's feelings? Gregory got a wife, and if it is true, which I don't think it is, that Quad and King are doing it that much, why is that like such a big deal? On top of that, like let's keep it a buck. Quad is drunk, and mind you, I feel like if she wasn't drunk, she would have did what Mimi and Steven did, or Steve did. Not even answer the question, but playfully be like, just know I'm satisfied. Because as private as Quad is, I don't think she would want the people to know she be busting it wide open. Then Gregory and Sweet Tea revealed their number, where they say 2 times a week, especially on her fertility journey. So Quad, drunk is like, oh, y'all got to do more. Y'all got to do more because we need a baby lump first. I said, Quad, turn around, girl, turn around. And she said, you know, y'all got to do more. She said, and I'm gonna plan the baby shower. Everybody's face is like, girl, what? I said, Quad is drunk. All I could do is laugh because I said, I know it was awkward as I don't know why they was sitting there. If I would have been sitting there, I'd have been weak. I'd have been giggling my ass off because I'd have been just like, girl, what the hell? Ain't no good because Toya's egging it on, being like, yes, and you're gonna plan it. You got Curtis and Jackie in their confessional, and Jackie said, this a little uncomfortable, seemingly, as she didn't want no baby with that man, and now you're trying to plan the baby shower. I said, mess. And then you got Phaedra downloading Shaq on like the drama, and Shaq was, when she was like, that's her ex-husband, Shaq said, when I tell you, I was like, this is so unserious. And I was like, I know everybody uncomfortable. Whew. Let me stop. I just know I'd have been laughing. I'd have been weak. Simone and Cecil kind of just like, oh girl. And Simone says in her confessional, she think Quad is messing with G right now. When she said, I'm gonna throw it in a circle. I said, she drunk. Oh, she is good and drunk, bro. Good and drunk. I think was like, what is an annoying trait of your partner? And it was a question for the men. So King ends up saying, Quad is always falling asleep. And everyone's like, he was like, she just go to sleep everywhere. So then Scott gets up and he was like, you know why? Because you put her to sleep, you know? And so he's like, hey, and they dap each other up. And then Quad gets up and hugs him and she's giggling and laughing. Everybody else is like, y'all is making this worse. So then Quad was like, you know what? I'm not even going to write anything. You know, this man, God has prepared me for this man. I've been blessed by this man. So then Toya ends up saying, girl, she's still talking. And then she says, I'm happy for you, Quad. Like, I'm happy for this relationship. I'm happy for the joy that it brings you. But Gregory and Sweet Tea are sitting behind you. And I'm like, why does that matter? You know? And so I said, girl, this is shenanigans. This is shenanigans. And Quad responds to Toya being like, why? And Toya's like, well, I think Dr. G is uncomfortable. And she's like, for what? He here with his wife. I'm here with my man. And she was like, what we talking about? So then you have Eugene and Toya in the confessional where Eugene is like, Greg's face has been smoldering this whole entire time. Like, you know, when a volcano, before it erupts, you see the smoke come out of it. They then got like the tiki torches flame coming off of the top of Greg's head. I said, oh my God. And so, yeah, flames coming off of Greg's head. And, you know, Quad ends up saying, like, you know, I'm happy. Like, he's happy. Like, we're good here, you know? Like, he's not, like, why would he be uncomfortable? Like, respect her. Talking to Sweet Tea, like, he needs to, if she's fine. And Sweet Tea ends up saying, we're good. I'm fine. Like, I'm like, yeah. And so then Quad said, I ended that marriage and I'm happy, and he seems to be happy. So then Sweet Tea is like, he wanted the marriage to end too. And then Heavenly said, no, he didn't. And Damon looked at her. She said, my bad. I said, shenanigans. Chaos is shenanigans. Eugene is like, bro, I did not douse my bourbon for this. So everybody's getting uncomfortable. And next thing you know, Quad ends up saying, this is the perfect person my ex-husband should be with, pointing to Sweet Tea. And then Gregory ends up saying something to the effect of like, we don't really care about your opinion. Like, nobody cares about your opinion. And Quad said, oh, so no one cares about my opinion, so I don't care about yours. So then Contessa gets up, and I thought Contessa was gonna like move her, because I was like, that's what should have happened. Like, somebody should have moved Quad. Like, the couple should have switched places. They should have switched places, because now it's like it's getting active right about now. So then Gregory ends up saying, Quad, you ain't never helped nobody in your life, because Quad was like, I'm just trying to be helpful. He was like, you got a big mouth and you ain't never helped nobody. And I said, see, okay, because this is my thing. Clearly, you know the lady is drunk. You know she drunk. Up until now, she hasn't really done anything to warrant you like name calling, saying that it's like throwing insults, saying she got a big mouth and all of that stuff. Yeah, was it kind of shady to be like, oh, it's time for y'all to have a baby and I'm gonna throw the baby shower? Yeah, but she drunk. Like, that wasn't even like a dig it wasn't a dig. But I will say, Quad saying the thing about, what's it called? I left that marriage. You know, I left that marriage. It, to me, what kicked all of this off really was Sweet Tea saying you're a liar about her having sex with King 15 times a week. Like, you shouldn't even be responding to her. Y'all don't like each other, ma'am. So even if you are trying to be funny or you are trying to be cheeky, it's not gonna land, because it's like, girl, I don't know you. I don't like you. You in my friend group. You with my ex-husband who I don't have like a positive relationship with, who in that marriage, it wasn't a positive relationship. Be quiet, sit there and eat your food. But she didn't do that. So to me, that's how it got kicked off, because you initiated calling that girl a liar. Then Quad was like, okay, if this what we doing it. And then now you got Greg's being like, don't nobody care about you or your opinion. And then it's going to say to her, what's it called? You're big mouth, you never help nobody. I said, girl, somebody moved them. So then Sweet Tea is trying to like calm Gregory down, also calming Quad down by being like, Quad, for real, Quad. And Quad is like, what, girl? What? I said, and Sweet Tea are like exchanging words. That's when Quad said, I'm what you want to be. I said, and I don't think she's wrong to feel that way. For Sweet Tea going around in her interviews on YouTube saying that lady is jealous of her, but yet you're on her TV show, you with her ex-husband, that's when I can say that's not a delusional take from somebody to think like, girl, you want my life. You want to be me because you decided to come on my show with my ex-husband and try to be around my friend group. The other way around don't make sense to me. So then, next thing you know, Gregory is starting to yell at Sweet Tea. And although I don't see it for that lady, I did not like that. When that man was like, babe, 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 I was like, okay. And she should have told him, your volume is up, bring it down. Because even Dr. Mimi jumped when he started yelling. You got, what's her name? Toya being like, Greg is losing it. And he does look like he's losing it. Like, why are you yelling at her? Like, they haven't even really exchanged words for you to be yelling at her. But I guess he wanted her to shut up because he wanted them to stop talking because he didn't want them to have an exchange of words. But he's like, babe, babe, babe. And everyone's just looking at Greg like, okay, sir. Gregory is screaming at Sweet Tea. Quada said, my man would never. I said, oh, my God. Chaos. Okay. Then we have Dr. Mimi basically saying like she done had too many drinks, too many, but Quagga has a lot of things that she is trying to get off her chest. Dr. Mimi also was like, girl, where's the vibe check? Are we going to check the vibe? And I would say Simone and Heavenly were bad hosts because I was like, girl, somebody should have stepped in and been like, okay, let's move people away from each other. Maybe the distance will keep the temperature down. Okay. They're going back and forth. Gregory is constantly telling Sweet Tea, like, babe, like, hush. Like, she good, I'm good, everybody good, don't nobody need to talk to each other. You got Toya in the confessional being like, girl, that man needs some value. Okay. That man needs some value. And then they continue the conversation where everyone is just kind of looking at this situation like, girl, this is messy. So then Quad is in the confessional with King saying, I think he got uncomfortable because I'm here with King. And King was like, why would he be that way? And she's like, because I'm his ex-wife. So then Simone gets up and she's like, yeah, it's time to go. I just got a text message from the hotel. They said they ready for us to skedoodle. Everybody get back to their rooms. You see Toya talking to Sweet Tea and Gregory being like, when people are buzzed, sometimes they just go too far. And then what really tickled me is when Cecil said, I just want the record to state that this had nothing to do with Heavenly. Heavenly didn't start. So this is shenanigans, bro. This is shenanigans. The party is over and the couples are leaving to go back to their rooms. Quad still is going off, talking her mess, talking about, I don't even know where she came from. And someone said, I think it was Heavenly said Texas. And she said, okay. So then she ends up saying, like, I did not do anything wrong. So then we see Quad and Dr. Mimi talking. And Quad is just like, I don't even have issues with Sweet Tea. She said, my issues stem from being married to her new husband. Like, it'd be different if she would just be like, okay, that's my husband, but I don't know the history with what y'all got going on. And so Dr. Mimi tries to touch Quad, and Quad is like, girl, like, let me get this out. And I don't think she was put off by that because Dr. Mimi said what Quad is doing is called rapid speech, where it's just like, it's been in there a long time and she's just trying to get it out. Because she ended up saying something to the effect of, I traded in being Mrs. Lumford for Mrs. King. I said, Quad, no matter if she's drunk or not, she gonna hit us with a soliloquy, okay? She gonna hit us with a Martin Luther King, I have a dream speech, all right? And what I do find interesting is some would agree with what Toya said. Drunk Quad probably wanted to get at Gregory because I do not think if Quad was sober, she would have gave this type of energy, but she drunk. But Quad can blame it on the alcohol. Gregory yelling at Sweet Tea and then storming off, that was your fault. You lack self-control right then and there, sir. So then we end up seeing Gregory pretty much chastising Sweet Tea for having a conversation back and forth with Quad, pretty much saying like he didn't want them to be talking to each other. But I understand where Sweet Tea's coming from. If someone's coming at me, I'm gonna say my piece. Like, I'm not just gonna sit there and be quiet. But he's yelling at her like he is her father. So then they're at the elevator. Then they get to their room and she's trying to be like, I understand there's so much a person could take, so I get where you're coming from. But then you see Gregory like storm out of the room being like, I gotta go take a walk. And she's like, why are you mad? Where are you going? So then they're arguing while she's in the room and he's in the hallway, and he's like, I told you don't argue with her because I'm happy she with him. I'm with you. Like, I don't want the negativity. I don't want the negativity. I said, nigga, calm down. Like, even that exchange between him and Quad was not that much to get this reaction. It definitely gave, I'm gonna go cry in the car. It definitely gave, I'm going to go cry in the car. Because if you don't, so here's the thing. I've been in situations where I've been around people I used to be like in relations with, like if whether we're friendships or actual, like we was talking to each other, and they've had like, they brought new friends or had a significant other, and I ain't even had this much energy when I felt like maybe somebody was trying to play in my face. I kept it cool and cute. I feel like if I didn't have, if I had those types of residual feelings that were that big, then maybe I would act like Greg. But I'm just kind of like, what negativity is she thrusting your way? Because y'all came on this show last season thrusting negativity her way, and she came back to play the game. What we doing? So he walks away from her. She tries to call him. He's sending her straight to voicemail. We then see Scott and Contessa, where Scott basically is like, oh, I'll go try to find him. And then you see Toya and Contessa and Sweet Tea talking. And they're like, what's going on? And she's like, she can't, like, Greg went for a walk, and then Toya's like, let him walk. And then Contessa tried to put some, like, actual, like, what's the word? Trying to speak facts, but she was like, this is a relationship that predates all of this. Like, basically what just happened shows that there's still residual issues with both of them on both sides. So, like, they just got to get it out. Sweet Tea is like, no, I just don't think she wants his negativity. He's tired of her negativity. And then Toya was like, girl, this girl got a man who every time he moves his arm, his pecs bump up and down. On top of that, they saying that they screw 15 times in a week. Like, he bothered. And Sweet Tea is like, no. And then Toya's in her confessional like, yeah, girl, he's bothered. Like, he probably loved his wife. She stopped having sex with him. So clearly there's something there. So it is what it is. So then next thing you know, we see a sit down with Damon, Heavenly, Curtis, and Jackie. And Damon ends up saying he kind of felt bad for Greg because, he got his wife here and his ex-wife here. And I guess he was thinking it from a friend's perspective when they heard Gregory complaining about Quad not wanting to have a child with him, them not being intimate with each other. And he was like, that's a lie. He was like, honestly, if this might be cowardice, I would have left. Like, I would have got on the plane and left. Like, I wouldn't want to do any of this. Then Curtis to me said the smartest thing where he was like, honestly, I would have never came back to the group. And Jackie said, and I wouldn't want you to. So they know what this is. They know what this is. You came back to this group to be around this lady and her friends. Even though Gregory was hanging out with the men, he could have just still hung out with the men, marry Sweet Tea, and not be a part of this show. Sweet Tea can get online all she wants and talks about how Heavenly is the one that persuaded her to come on the show. She persuaded you, but that doesn't mean that she got you like a application and was like, girl, fill this out. Well, no, maybe she did do that, but you submitted it. No one told you to submit the application. So you knew what this was going to be. And so did he. He was okay with coming back to this show to throw him getting married in front of Quad's face because Quad was not with anyone and on the outs with the group. Now that she's somewhat okay with the group and got a new man, all of a sudden she too negative. Lies and fallacies. You mad because she got a man and now she can play the game with you, and you didn't. That's not the game you signed up for. That's just what it is. Hey, y'all, that is it. That is all. As always, remember to be bravely authentic. Definitely hop down in them comments below and subscribe, okay? And like the video. And I'm out, y'all. Deuces.